What is going on, gang? It's me, your boy C, the host of this thing here called Paprika Movie Reviews. Man, back with another review for you for a movie called Limbo. Might have got past your radars. Got past my radars. So I want to make sure that everyone else is aware of this movie, because that's what I'm here for. I'm in your corner to make sure nothing gets by you here. But Limbo, directed by Ben Sharrock, starring Amir El Masri, Vikash Bai, Oli Orabi, and Kais Nashef, and other people. It's a bit of a strange ensemble type deal to Limbo. If you haven't heard of it, man, the quick elevator pitch is such. Limbo centers on four asylum seekers who are staying on a remote island in Scotland and taking cultural awareness classes while awaiting the processing of their refugee claims. So let's just get into it, man. Our main focus here, the center of this piece, is Omar, a Syrian man who's fled his country and is seeking asylum in Britain, in England, awaits his acceptance in Limbo. This emotional journey of self-discovery and self-acceptance. This is a dramedy, is what they're billing this as, and it's written and directed by Ben Sharrock. It's equal parts, man, sad, joyful, and tender. As Omar and his roommate await word from the government, he's haunted by his decision to leave war-torn Syria and his parents in order to try and make a better life. And accompanying on his journey is his oud, as it's called. It's a musical instrument that Omar is renowned for playing back home, but doesn't even fucking touch it. Not even a strum throughout this movie, man. This is partly due to the fact that Omar starts the movie with a broken hand, but once that cast comes off, the most he'll allow himself to do is just occasionally attempt to tune it. That's about it. But still, that being said, he carries his oud everywhere he goes, as if it's his last attachment to his family back home. He dare not let it out of his sight. Of the refugees, the two that received the least amount of screen time, Wasef and Abedi. Those are both refugees from Africa that are in Scotland under false pretenses, let's say. And the dynamic between the two is brotherly, as they argue all throughout the movie. They argue whether it's about the show Friends or the fates of Ross and Rachel, or whether or not that Wasef is good enough to make the football club in Europe. But while they're not in the movie often, they do bring a different sort of worldview, apart from the likes of Omar and his housemate, Farhad. Their story, Wasef and Abedi, is brief, ultimately tragic, but the pair of characters help expand Omar's small world and bring perspective to the fact that, but honestly, refugees can come from anywhere and can be going anywhere. But as the film progresses, Omar's estrangement becomes twofold. Not only is he in an unfamiliar world with few resources, but the nature of the conversation between him and his parents at home is also changing throughout the movie. At the beginning, his parents go from doubting his brother Nabil's fighting in the war to eventually praising his brother Nabil fighting in the war. And this creates really the only source of tension and conflict in the movie. Omar and his brother Nabil, as they share opposing ideals on how to best handle the situation in Syria. And their eventual confrontation, which is about the peak of Omar's journey through the movie. It's a quiet affair. And really it's being held down by Kais Nashef as the brother Nabil who commands the screen in the one scene that he's in. But still, front and center of this movie is Amir El Masri, who's playing our boy Omar, one of the many transitioning immigrants that's on this fictional Scottish island. And we see the landscape through his eyes as he, navigates the other immigrants, the temptations of illegal work, navigates his own personal issues. And the heart of his struggle, I think, is the decision of whether or not he made the right choice to leave. And this issue is brought up time and time again on those phone calls with his parents, as well as their, the declining financial situation that they got going on there. And El Masri plays Omar wonderfully, man. He's just a sweet character. Puts his heart on his sleeve. It makes the audience easy to endear themselves to him. He's got like a gentle nature, a calm demeanor that makes him the perfect protagonist to take him on a journey like this. And then likewise, his roommate, Vikash Bai, his housemates, Farhad, delightfully quirky. He provides the majority of the humor in the film, and Farhad's constant sweet optimism and his earnestness to assist Omar with his music and getting him back to playing the oud contrasts against Omar's inner conflict, and that's what makes for a great odd coupling of friends. And Farhad's own motivations for leaving his country are a little bit more implicitly stated than Omar's are, but it still serves to give him depth and dimension, I would say, by the film's end. And I think by the film's end, you will be very happy with Farhad's circumstances. El Masri and Vikash Bai carry the emotional heft of the dramedy. And while Sidsi Babette Knudsen, who I've seen in a couple of things, he was just in... lost it. Kenneth Collard, also in this movie. They're the group's cultural sensitivity teachers who don't quite have it all together themselves. They lead the rest of the eclectic court cast that fills out the rest of this movie. This is directed by Ben Sharrock. And much like I talked about, if you've listened to my review of The Killing of Two Lovers and how minimalistic it is, this film is also the same way. It is very sparse. The settings are sparse. The wide open areas help to create that feeling of reclusiveness that's felt by Omar as he struggles to adapt to his settings while he's waiting for those papers to come through. This low-key approach, I think, is assisted wonderfully by the cinematographer, Nick Cook, and by the set design. You look at all the outside shots, a number of scenes that are shot with plenty of visible wide open space behind the characters to show that expanse of this fictional Scottish island and how isolated they are from the rest of society. And then even the closest telephone booth where he goes to call his parents is nowhere in sight of the smattering units that they're housed in. And inside those units, talking about that good set design, man, only the absolute barest appliances are found. There's no wall art, very little furniture. Few things of personal value are ever seen on the screen, besides that oud, as a way to remind the viewers that while they likely packed light to leave their country, neither have they acquired anything new to start building a new life. Even the grocery store that Omar visits on occasion contains almost completely empty shelves. And that shot composition and that set design really help give life to a location that, while it's still populated, it's shrouded in loneliness, honestly. But overall, man, Limbo, an amazingly sweet story of a man lost between worlds and struggling to find his identity. I think Amir El Masri and Vikash Bai are these stellar standouts in this somewhat ensemble film. Manages to very, very carefully, deftly balance the humor and a subject that is as serious as immigration can be. Competently directed by Ben Sharrock. It's a film that should be seen by many and unfortunately will be seen by far too few, in my opinion. It's at times funny, at times heart-wrenching. Man, it is an eye-opening insight into the struggles of someone who's leaving their home country in search of a new home. And you can responsibly see Limbo in theaters on April 11th. It is still in theaters. I'm sorry, April 30th. It is still in theaters right now. If you want to go check out Limbo, man, see if it's playing somewhere at a local theater. If you have that ability, if you're comfortable with it. If you do, get back to me, man. Let me know what you thought about it. Until then, take it easy, and we'll see you next time around. Have a good one.